Hello, today is Sunday, January 27th, 2008. I am Aviva Lee, reporting live from room 903 in Jerusalem for Israel 24/6 TV. This will be a recap of the events of last week in the Judea and Samaria region, and we now know that on Monday, January 21st, 2008, during a joint military operation between the Israel Defense Force and the Israel Security Agency, the Tanzim terror operative Mr. Murad al-Bassa was shot and killed when he opened fire at Israel Defense Force soldiers. Lieutenant Colonel Nir Bar-On is the Israel Defense Force battalion commander who was lightly injured in that clash. Last week, the IDF spokesperson verified that the commander was the soldier responsible for killing the Tanzim terrorist Mr. al-Bassa after he fired upon the commander and his troops. And on January 23, 2008, 9 tons of fertilizer containing the banned substance potassium nitrate was discovered in Nazareth during a joint military exercise involving the Israel Defense Force, Civil Administration, Israel Border Police, and the Israel Security Agency. It is widely known that potassium nitrate is banned from the Gaza Strip and Judea and Samaria due to its use by terrorists for the manufacture and production of explosive devices, including Qassam rockets. The IDF spokesperson also stated in the same report that during another joint exercise on the same day, that soldiers and military personnel discovered other banned substances in 2 factories just east of Nablus. Among the substances found there were formalin, acid sulfate, silver nitrate, and other banned substances used by terrorists in the manufacture of explosives. The official statement from the IDF spokesperson includes a renewed statement that these particular types of operations will certainly continue in order to prevent the transfer of banned substances into the hands of terrorists seeking to use those substances in terrorist activities against the sovereign state of Israel or her citizens. And this past week, the military arrested some 50 wanted hostile combatants in the Judea, Samaria, and Jordan Valley region. On January 24, 2008, at a checkpoint manned by Israel Border Police, a young recruit who had served less than 12 months with the Israel Border Police was shot to death when 2 terrorists approached the station and opened fire. The female officer on duty with Lance Corporal Rami Zouari was also injured. A previously anonymous offshoot of Fatah's Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade, known as the Battalions of Struggle and Return, claimed responsibility for the killing. Lance Corporal Rami Zouari is survived by his parents and 4 siblings, and he was buried in the military cemetery in Beersheba. Please take special note that the crossing where the terrorists killed Lance Corporal Zouari is a pedestrian crossing between the Shuafat refugee camp and the Pisgat Zev neighborhood of Jerusalem. The measures taken by the sovereign state of Israel to try to ensure the safety to the civilian population were also announced last week. The IDF spokesperson announced on the 24th of January 2008, and I quote, "The IDF took several measures in order to guarantee the security of the civilians of Israel and Israel's borders, shared security assessments between all security forces and Israeli internal security, contact with communities in the western Negev in order to provide them with guidance in accordance with the security assessments. And Road 10 along the Israeli-Egyptian border has been temporarily closed to all civilian traffic in order to guarantee their security," end quote. And last week also, on the 24th, a travel warning was issued by the Prime Minister's media advisor. It reads, and I quote, "Warnings of terrorist attacks in Sinai have recently intensified. Terrorists in Sinai are working to abduct Israelis in Sinai and convey them to the Gaza Strip. The currently open border between the Gaza Strip and Sinai makes it easier for terrorists to move back and forth. Therefore, the National Security Council Counter-Terrorism Bureau recommends that Israelis avoid visiting Sinai and that any Israelis currently there leave forthwith." End quote. And this communique was just sent for release a few hours ago. Recently, approximately 20 Israeli Arabs from Jisr al-Zarqa and the Wadi Ara region were arrested in a joint operation between the Israel Security Agency and the Israel Police. It was suspected that those Israeli Arabs arrested were involved in illegally transferring weapons and munitions. It was just announced that today, of those 20 that were arrested, 6 have now been indicted today. Furthermore, the official statement from the government press office gives the following details, and I quote, "The principal accused is Hamza Masri, 24, from Kafar Kara, who is accused of trafficking in weapons and munitions, with Shahar Hanina, 41, the head of the Tanzim in Kalkilia. It is alleged that in 2005, Masri acquired a pistol for Hanina as well as a 15-kilogram bag of potassium for use in preparing explosives. Masri was fully aware of the intended use of the potassium. Masri was arrested in 2005 and warned about his ties with Hanina, whom he knew headed the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigades in Kalkilia. Upon his release later that year, Masri continued his links with Hanina. Masri purchased tens of thousands of dollars worth of weapons and munitions for Hanina, including an M16, a hunting rifle, and a laser sight for an M16, end quote. And we have the final travel routes and tourist advisory from the IDF just forwarded to the press a few moments ago. The original travel warning of the 24th of January is still in effect. Tourists are kindly requested not to visit the following regions: Agur Sand Dunes, Be'er Milcha, Be'erutaim region, Azuz region, Mount Harif region, Lot Wells, Scorpion Creek, Elot Creek, Mount Ramon, Arud Pass, Mount Sagi, Mount Karkum, Snifim Gate, Elat Mountains, Ein Netafim, Tabachut Creek, Shlomo Creek, Yoshaphat Creek, Geshron Creek, Shani Creek, and the Red Canyon. And that concludes this edition of Fact Without Commentary for this January 27, 2008. I wish to thank Media Central for the use of their office and the equipment for this broadcast. I am Aviva Lee, reporting live in Jerusalem from room 903 for Israel 24/6 TV. Thank you, and Shalom.